I'm going to kick things off, Russ. Let's get started because we got a lot to cover. It's
Let's do it.
12:03 by my clock.
I'm ready to
So I
roll.
don't know where you are, what time zone you're in, but it's 12:03 here in Florida.
I'm 11:03. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota currently.
Okay, good. At least you know where you are.
I
That's also part of the challenge of traveling like we. I forget what room, what
yes.
floor I'm on, and
I went to the wrong room and tried to access it, and I'm like, "Why isn't this stupid key working?" I went downstairs, and they're like, "Sir, you're not in room 220." Like, shoot, that must have been last week.
yeah, I carry the little card that tells you what the room number is. Just
I shoot
it's
a picture of it now. Yes.
yeah, it's sad. It's really sad for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're here for head to head with Russ Laggan, you are in the right spot. So thank you all for joining us today. Head to head, of course, is the program where I go literally head to head with an industry expert and sometimes ask the industry expert, but an expert on a topic. We do a deep dive. And the whole goal is that it's very conversational. And it should be like you're a fly on the wall, but a fly on the wall who gets to participate in the conversation. So, again, I want to thank my buddy Russ Laggan, who is the chief vest wearer. I'm pretty sure that is his title, is chief vest wearer and cheerleader for eXp Realty. And we will get to that and let Russ introduce himself in a minute. So, let me get my housekeeping out of the way. Most of you know me, but if you don't, my name is Kimberly Mackey. My company is New Home Solutions, and that is what I do. I provide solutions to builders. I like to say that I'm the company that people call when they want sales to be the engine that drives the train rather than running it off the tracks. So I go in, I do more of a deep dive than a lot of my colleagues who do training. I do training, that's just one component of what I do. I actually make sure that all the systems, the processes, the company is set up for success so that when we drive those sales, they are consistent and they are profitable. So if I can help you with that, please give me a call. I absolutely love to do that. All of my digits are right here. This is how you can find me. Of course, my website, just Google me. It's pretty easy to find me. It's not hard. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Russ to tell us all about what it means to be a chief vest wearer and cheerleader for EXP.
Kimberly, it's kind of funny because the best thing started a bunch of years ago. Actually, I'll go way back, right? I used to wear vests a bunch when I was a licensed hairstylist in my 20s. So I cut hair for a living. I worked in a salon, worked with mostly women. And for me, it was a matter of like having something that I could swap out during the day because they get destroyed during the day. So it was just kind of a practical thing for me. And then it just kind of became a style. And then, here we are getting into professional business. And I was super young when I was running real estate offices and so forth. So I always wanted to dress a little bit above just the norm, just because I wanted to stand out because I had to. This is how I showed up. And then it just kind of became a thing. And now it's kind of become an industry joke that I literally would.
It's your brand. It's not a joke. That is your brand. And you are so on brand that
Brand. Yeah. And
even when you're in the lazy river inspiring people, he is still wearing the vest.
so this somebody's like, you wouldn't wear a vest in a pool, would you? Like, do you have a sleep vest? And I'm like, no, of course I don't. It's a pajama vest. So it just kind of became a joke, but it's part of the flavor and the style. And the interesting thing is, Kimberly, is that as we get higher and higher up in leadership, people start to see you as the leader and you're in charge. And really, I mean, who do you see wearing a vest? You see the waiters and the waitresses and the stewards and the people on the airplane. You see the people serving other people are the ones wearing a vest. So it's kind of like the way I've always identified myself. The higher up I go in leadership, the more of a servant I feel like I become. And I just become a servant to a lot bigger cross section of people. So it kind of just fits my mantra. People talk about rolling up their sleeves. Yeah, I'm like, let's get in. People talk about white glove service. You ought to see my gloves. They're completely black, because the people doing real white glove service have dirty ass gloves just because it's just the nature of the beast, right? So
Right.
it's kind of a humorous thing. And then Tony Robbins said one time, it's like, if you got a thing you're known for, don't change it. Double down on it. And I'm like, damn it, I'm going to be wearing a vest for the rest of my life. Yes, you sparkling. The
My
blink.
hard hat.
I remember
It's got a
on
life
my
of its
phone.
own, right? Like, yes, I always have to have the hard hat there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there you
And
go.
it seems gimmick. It's not gimmicky. Like it's once you're not, branding yourself and your unique selling proposition is something that all of us do, whether we're in general real estate or we're builders or we work for the
Yeah.
builders and we're in sales or management or leadership or whatever.
Yeah.
So super important. I'm glad you said that. I love the whole servant leadership thing.
Well, and the thing is, Kimberly, when we talk to, I mean, we're talking to a bunch of new home construction people, right? So like, how do you get to be? You got to be known for something. If you're not known for something, you're known for nothing, or you're not even known, right? So how do
You're
you
not
become
known,
known for
yes, which is
something?
even worse. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're basically unbranded if people don't know what your brand and your flavor is, and just find your flavor. So don't be afraid to find your flavor. I think that's the biggest challenge in the real estate business across the board and business in general is everybody's so freaking vanilla because they don't want to be outside the box. Sometimes just having that one or two things that you really double down on outside the box that you become known for. I mean, think about it. Doubletree got known for a freaking cookie.
A cookie. Yes.
Cookies, cookies, right? So like it doesn't have to be something amazing. It doesn't have to be something insane. It doesn't have to be something unique. Get known for the smell of hot, warm cookies when people walk into wherever you are, and people will remember that kind of stuff. So, and don't be afraid to borrow from somebody else's stuff. I'm not the only person wearing a vest, although I do have people that wear vests find me and say, "Hey, Luke, look, I got a vest on."
So, I mean, imitation is the sincerest form of
Yeah,
flattery. So,
R&D, right?
yes,
And
yeah,
duplicate.
exactly, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
when you are not traveling, one of the I had to share because I think his work is just incredible, and the fact that he can take a piece of wood and turn it into a bass guitar like this, and like, wow, just wow. I don't even know how to comment on your stuff anymore. I look at it, I'm just like, that's so incredible.
Kimberly, a lot of times people see these pictures and they're like, "Oh, that's so great that you play. That's a cool bass guitar." I'm like, "No, no, I don't play at all. I built that. That's what I build them. I don't play them." And they're like, "Well, you do play though, right?" I'm like, "No, actually, I never have learned how to play. It's just not something I ever learned. But I've built like 60 plus of these, and one of my earlier bass guitars was played in Terminator soundtracks, which is that dates me a little bit there, right? So I've got a guy that I'm building a bass for right now that's going to be playing bass for one of the guys from Breaking Benjamin. They started a new band, and they're big national. So I just kind of do this stuff, and it's a ton of fun. So it keeps me out of trouble. I always say it keeps me out of trouble, keeps me out of the bar.
So the man is like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he just goes on and on. Couple of things I just want to bring up and before we get into the meat of the program. January, we are coming out of the gate hot, and it's going to be head to head to head. So I'm doing something really unusual, and I have invited my dear friends and brilliant colleagues, Anya Chrysanthemum and Keith McKinney. So if you're in the industry, you probably know both of these amazing, gorgeous people. And we are going to be giving you a preview of our talk that we are giving at the International Builder Show at the end of February in Las Vegas. And we're going to be talking about prop tech, the technology, and sales managers. This one's for you because you buy the tech, and owners, you buy the tech, and then how do you get people to use it?
Yeah.
So, what is the secret sauce of getting people to maximize? I always say, if you're going to buy a system, you should be able to maximize it until it breaks. So we're going to talk about that. It's going to be a lot of fun because it's the two of them. They're always a hoot. It's always a good time. They always make very complicated subjects very easy. So mark your calendars now. And of course, you can register on newhomesolutions.com/head to head. So you can make sure that you are registered for that one. Full disclosure between Russ and I. So back in the day, 2009. Oh, 2000. Wasn't that a fun time in
Oh,
2009?
that's such a great time. Days, medieval times, weeping and gnashing of teeth. Yeah, that was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. So for those of you who haven't been around that long in the home building industry, and I know many of you can't, those were not fun times. We were all there was
Yeah,
nothing happening. Like the market crashed. I was curled up in a fetal position, trying to figure out what I was going to do because, of course, I started my company in 2007, which had
yeah,
been great up until 2009,
yeah.
and at the end of 2009, I was working with a local builder who was having a brokers open event. And this vest wearing dude right here came into that event. We struck up a conversation on the front porch. Next thing I know, I've got an appointment with him to meet with him in his office about some amazing idea he has that he needs my help with. And so in early 2010, I met with him. I met with the owners of what then was Prudential Tropical Realty,
Yeah.
and now has grown to, I think, the fifth largest franchise in Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.
Yeah.
So it's Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Properties Group.
Yeah.
And we cover all of West Central Florida. They've got about 1,400 agents.
Yeah.
Russ is the
Fantastic.
catalyst for that because he was the one who brought me in, and they asked me to create a builder relations program.
Yeah.
It has been a screaming success. I've put almost 1,600 people. This is last week I graduated my 57th session
That is
of
insane.
that course.
Kimberly, that's insane. 57. I mean, like, I remember going through one and we're like, okay, what did we do good? What did we not do good? And it was like, let's go through two. Next thing you
Yeah,
know,
let's really break this thing
10.
down. And then when we were doing two at a time in the beginning, so roughly 1,600. I really should go back and actually count it up, but roughly 1,600 people, general real estate agents who have learned how to work with builders. And it's been a game changer in this market. Of course, not all of them are still with. Oh, there's Sue. Yeah, way back in the day. That yeah. So it's been
Yeah.
a long time, but I can tell you, it really is a game changer. When I see those people who take that program and apply it, and the success that they've gone on to achieve, I'm just so proud of them all. And
Yeah.
they build upon those building blocks that they got from going through that program.
It's funny, Kimberly, because a lot of the stuff that you taught in that was teaching them basic sales skills that nobody else had taught them.
Nope, we don't teach
Right?
realtors how to sell. We teach them how to
No.
get leads.
Yeah, let's go chase people around until they finally give up and lay on the floor like, fine, you got me. Like
Yeah.
that's like, let's wear them down until they cave in, right? It was
Well,
really,
let's show them 99 homes. So yeah, they
yes,
play tour guide Barbie and Ken because that's really
yes,
appropriate right now with the Barbie movie that was just out. But that's what
yeah,
we do. We get a lead, they fog a mirror. Hopefully the good
yeah,
agents then get them qualified through their lender, and then we go drive them around or meet them places and show them homes until something sticks.
yeah.
That seems really expensive.
You go back into 2000, you go back in 2008 and 2009. So here's actual stat from Tampa. I still remember because it hurt because I was there. I saw it. I got some blood under my nails at that point, right? So 800 total sales in our market in Tampa in January of 2008 with 13,000 realtors. That means less than one agent out of 13 got a check in January of 2008. I mean, it was really dark times. But Kimberly, I think the thing is that like amazing things are created in shitty times, right?
Yes, they are.
Uber was created in what, '09. The company I'm with currently was created in '09. When everything's falling apart, that's when innovators innovate. And that's when people put their head down. So like right now, it's interesting. It's kind of funny that you reached out because I've been talking a lot about new home construction. I'm like, guys, we have no inventory. However, some of the builders do have inventory. So like if you don't have that as part of your repertoire, you've got one less thing that you have the ability to put people in houses with. And by the way, if you haven't done a new home sales deal and you do it right, you go in, introduce the people, shut the heck up and stay out of their way. They'll do the deal for you. And
Well,
the
that
agents,
terrifies realtors when we say that. 80% of realtors have never sold a new home, even
I
in
know,
today's market
I
with the
know.
low in and why don't they do that? Fear.
Yes, yes. Well, what if they
False
what if
evidence
they
appearing
take
real.
my client?
Fear.
But there's
Yep.
there's an opportunity here for new home sales because now you can say, hey, listen, we've already got your commission baked into this thing, guys. It's the most amazing opportunity in the world where you get an agent that doesn't have a skill set. If you don't know how to negotiate this stuff, look, bring them to us first. We'll handle it for you and make sure you get paid. When everybody else is trying to make sure you don't get paid, we'll make sure you get paid. No one else in the market can talk about that, Kimberly, except new home salespeople.
It's true.
Super
but
blue
but
ocean.
because of that, there are certain criteria, and this is why we have this little, I don't know, tete-a-tete that we have.
Yeah,
There is a lack of understanding on both sides what
yeah,
people do and where their value lies.
yes,
So, and this comes as a big surprise anytime I talk about this. The realtor's job in the eyes of the builder is to have a fully qualified buyer who is fogging a mirror, but also meets the criteria, and bring them to us and be the procuring cause, not to represent the buyer after they've been coming to us for 6 weeks and now they've decided they want to pull the trigger and they want a realtor on the deal. That's not why builders pay you. And so you get sideways, you get all upset. We want procuring cause. You are our outside sales force, and we love you for that.
Exactly.
You're not us, though. You don't understand exactly what it is that we do. And why would we spend all that money, just because, just to throw it away? All that, we have a housing affordability problem in this country.
Totally. Yes.
And throwing 3 and 4% at deals where somebody truly wasn't that makes no sense, because that is being spread across all of our housing supply.
I agree. You know what I think, Kimberly? I mean, this is a two-way street, right? So I'm on the real estate agent side. Not that I'm on the side of them as much. Like, it's not us against them. It's us with them. It's us with you, with us, right? And Kimberly, this comes down to building relationships, right? So it's on both of us to build relationships. As you've heard me say this a million times, guys. I want you to go out to your new home construction places, get to know the salespeople, get to know the product, get to know the land, get to know the dirt, get some idea of what they're going on, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what can they do and can't do. And your job is to know enough information that you can support that salesperson, making sure your people are making a great decision. It's not you against them. You're not negotiating against them. You are collaborating with them to get a buyer the home that they need for them that fits their criteria. If the home doesn't fit their criteria, you damn well better stand up and say, well, you know what, guys, this does not fit what you told me you wanted. So I'm not saying blow the deal up. So you make sure if they're getting what they want and we're clear on what they want, then get out of the damn way and help facilitate getting the house done and getting the house closed. They want a new house. Our job is to help them get there, not make it a giant pain in the ass. But it comes down to relationship too. So Kimberly, you and I can sit down.
Always relationships.
Always relationship. And that's a two-way street, right? So we have on the real estate side, I had how many new home construction people? They were in my office all the time. They had to go through Connie Argyros, my pit bull.
Yes. Yes.
4'3" Greek lady, right? One of my favorite humans in the world. And Connie would not let anybody past her, because I had specific rules on how to get to me, right? But we started to find that there were certain people that we started getting them to add value coming in. And it wasn't trying to get something, it was trying to collaborate. And when we started building a system of collaboration, then I started why don't I do my sales meeting at a new home sales place every month? So I would take my team and could I bring my whole team there for our sales meeting? And they're like, yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, we love it.
I'm reaching out to them, right? Because so right now, most of our business, we do all business virtual, almost all business virtual. And I say to guys, I'm like, listen, get your team together. Every month you do your team meet at one of the new home sales places. Number one, they need to know where all of them are. Number two, it's a great way to make connections with people. Number three, you get a free facility, and hell, guys, I'll buy you freaking lunch. So start building this collaboration, be intentional.
And what you get excited about, guess what? You'll sell it. Your energy will go out. So if you're a general real estate agent and you want to stop selling things that are 200 and under and start selling things that are 350, 400, go hang out in those places, because you'll get excited about it. And that's the energy you will now project out into the world.
Yes. And let me slap the snot out of a couple of realtors right now.
Okay, you go for it. Better you than me.
We just slap both sides, but yeah. If you are having a strategy of poaching buyers at new home construction as part of your business plan, stop it. Just stop it.
Okay, I got to chime in on this one. It is unethical, and I have literally kicked people out of the program for doing that. Yes. But builders spend a ton of money. On average, we spend about $800 to $1,200 per lead that comes through our door. Yeah. So if you're trying to snake those people, and I'm sorry, you sign you agree when you join the National Association of Realtors that you will abide by a code of ethics. That is not ethical.
Yeah. So this comes down to relationships too. So typically you don't do this kind of crap to people you have a relationship with, right? So it's on both of us to build relationships. So Kimberly, one of the things that I would talk to the new home salespeople with is listen, I do a real estate market update that tells you what's going on in the market every month. And I send it out to everybody, including Chris Raya and the whole gang, and Ken and Jeff, and we can go name Chris and all the rest of those guys, right? So I sent that out to every single one of them. I'm like, guys, what you do is you take my market update and you send it to every other realtor you know. So you're becoming a resource and a reason to connect to them, not saying, hey, do you know anybody who wants to buy a new house in the next couple of weeks, Kimberly? I mean, like, nobody wants to have that conversation. I don't want to pick up the phone, but I know if Chris reaches out and he's like, hey man, did you get the market update that I sent out? See that guy? So you know what's going on in the market. And it's building the relationship. So a lot of this game with real estate agents, and I'm just talking super straight to them yesterday on stage here. I'm like, guys, we can't approach relationships trying to get something. And as a salesperson, everything we're doing is trying to get a sale, get a contact, get a buyer, get a lead, get a whatever, get that next contact. Instead, start thinking, what can I give and how can I give? And can I give on a regular basis? And what's going to happen is it's more organic. It takes more time, but you're building better relationships. Think about it. Kimberly, I've been married 29 freaking years. 20, I know, right?
33.
29 years. And a relationship like that doesn't last. And they're like, how do you do that? I'm like, you always have to be approaching the relationship from a perspective of giving, not trying to get. If I'm just trying to get out of the relationship, I'm going to lose and fail all the time. So how do I give and contribute to the relationship? And no, I don't have any single brothers. So with that said, you have to start learning to, do you have any brothers? No. So you have to learn and think about, like, how do I give? How do I add value? Always think give and add value. So from a new home construction standpoint, it's like, I would much rather you approach me and say, hey, by the way, here's some market data info that you need to know. By the way, here's what's really going on in the market. Here's what's, you need to be a real estate market expert also. You say, but Russ, I'm only new homes. Like, you're still homes, right? You still need to know what's going on.
And people have questions, particularly because the market is always doing something.
Yes.
It's like the weather. It's always doing something. The market's going up, it's going down, it's going sideways. Right now, it's going in circles. I mean, it's going somewhere. So be a market expert.
National market stat market right now in the last year, 2.1 million new households created. We're averaging right around 2 million new households created and only 1 million homes being built.
Yes.
So guys, we are actually 1 million homes shorter this year than we were last year and the year before. And by the way,
since 2010, we've been running around that deficit. It's adding up.
Kimberly, the biggest issue I think we have in the market right now is fear. And I started my slide yesterday. Was like, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And understanding what the metrics are doing, what a market is doing, and what's really going on helps you communicate information to buyers and sellers. It helps you communicate with real estate agents so they can understand. It's like, well, what happens if the market crashes? Listen, there are a couple of markets that went down, but this year in a market that was supposed to get its ass kicked, we're tracking for 7% nationally, 7% appreciation nationally. And by the way, guys, supply is still at all-time lows. Has it gone up a little bit? Yeah, but that's like me saying, Kimberly, I slowed the car way down to 140.
I just got the market reports for there. I'm working with a builder up there, and like, I mean, it's great. Even in the small outlying towns, like the demand, and their numbers are smaller because it's a smaller town, but the demand is it's crazy what's happening, and people don't realize that because all they hear are headlines on the national news. You can't be that person who just listens to headlines. Read the article. As I say to my son all the time, all the words count.
Yeah.
All the words matter. Get some resources. There are some great resources for you to very easily, in layman's terms, understand the market. Dr. Lawrence Yun with the National Association of Realtors, fantastic information, right? And then the National Association of Home Builders, Rob Dietz, is phenomenal. Our chief economist there. NAHBnow.com will get you that information. Lance Lambert, who was with Forbes magazine, I always want to say Fortune, Forbes magazine, has now gone out on his own. He started Resi Club. You can find him on X, formerly known as Twitter, that we have to keep saying, formerly known as Twitter. It's very annoying. But you can find him there, and you can subscribe to his free newsletter. Inc. magazine puts out free newsletter with just phenomenal stuff. Like, you don't even have to spend any money. So you don't want to get the Inman subscription. So Inman's great, but some people won't get the subscription, can't afford to pay the money. Fine, go find these resources elsewhere. They don't cost you a dime.
Yeah, start being intentional about making sure you know what's going on in the market, and make sure you like. I grabbed a bunch of slides from another guy, and I was like, "Listen, Eric, that was brilliant. I love that slide." And he's like, I'll send it to you, right? He's happy to send it to me. And what it was like 2012. The housing prices have hit the all-time highs, almost the same as 2005 and 6. And they're like, the bubble's going to come. The housing inventory, housing appreciated 7% that year. So last year, the big one was like, we're at the end of the days in real estate world. It can't keep going. 18% appreciation national. You're just going like every time they say the world's going to fall down, we still have these amazing metrics. Even like January, February, March this year, market was down a little bit, and the numbers were down a little bit compared to the year before, which was astronomically ridiculous. So it's coming back to normal. And they're like, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. I'm like, no, it's coming back. We need it.
In Builderland, we were like, whoa, what's happening? We can't build them this fast still. Like, so in January, February, like we came out of the gate hot in January last year. I personally believe we're going to come out of the gate hot again this year in January. So because, as you said, people are afraid. And once the Fed puts they don't have to lower interest rates. Don't lower interest rates. Just leave them where they are. They're at a historic norm anyway. Right. And just stop when they stop going up. You're going to see home building and even I know there's a lot of shadow people out in the shadow inventory. I've got a 2.75% mortgage rate myself. I get it, and I'm going, I like my home a little more than I thought I did. Maybe I'll stay here a little bit longer. But there are also those people who life is still happening. People are having babies. People are dying. People are getting jobs. People are getting promotions. People are getting relocated. Life is happening. It always does.
So, Kimberly, interesting perspective right now is being able to tell the story of what your actual blended rate is. So here's a scenario. So we've got the foreclosures are going to go through the roof, Russ. I got this little graph, and it's like foreclosures normally here, and right now it's down here, and they're like, Russ, it went up, and I'm like, it went up from nothing. It's not even close to normal. And by the way, did you know 38.6% of homeowners own their house free and clear? Did you know another 30% of them have 50% or more equity in their house? And across the nation, I believe, let me see if I got this stat in front of me here. Across the nation, 56.3, let me see, I'm sorry, 57.3% appreciation nationally. That's a national average over the last 5 years. So even if you bought a house in the last 3, 4, 5 years, you still have equity in the house. So you're not going to have a foreclosure boom when 68+% of people are either 50% equity or paid off. And the other 30% that's left bought in the last 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, I've got stats coming out of my wazoo right
just
here.
Sell their homes in that case.
Yes,
and we're not going to have a flood on that. So because again, there's a bunch of people who are staying put. So yeah, no, this bubble thing, again, maybe you and I just drink the Kool-Aid. Maybe we're eternally optimistic, and something could happen. Nobody has a crystal ball. Mine's been in the shop for years, so we don't. But the tea leaves right now are pointing to all signs are good. And on the builder side, like our traffic died for about a month. Yes. When the last interest rates went up, and of course with the new war, like everything just came to a grinding halt. I won't even say it lasted a month. I'm going to say it lasted a couple, 2, 3 weeks. Yeah. People start buying again. And so every time something happens, we have a reaction to it, and then just go back to living their lives because, if you stopped living every time something happened, you'd just curl up in a fetal position and never do anything in life.
Yeah. Lay down and wait.
Yeah.
Dig a hole, lay down and wait. Kimberly, the other thing too is like you got to start seeing the opportunities. And one of the things I've been teaching real estate agents, let's go back to sales. Oh, the horror. Let's actually talk like salespeople. If you get in front of a potential buyer that needs to sell something, the question is like, if you could do something, would you? If you could,
that's one of my favorite closes.
If you could, would you? And if they say yes, great. Well, let's sit down with a mortgage person. So you guys got to partner with amazing mortgage people and find mortgage people that can actually tell the conversation. So here's the way it goes. I mean, think about it like this, real simple. Okay, 68+% of people have a shit ton of equity or 100% equity in their house, right? But they also have credit card debt, and they have car payments, and they have house other things, and they have other personal debts. So they've got, on average, U.S. wise, $20,000 to $30,000 of additional debt, outside debt. All of that stuff is at 7, 8, 9, 10, 20% interest rate. So here's the deal: you sell your house, we pay off all your debt. Yes, you have a higher interest rate, but after we pay off all that debt and you get the new house, your house payment only goes up. Total monthly debt only goes up by $200 or $300 a month. because you pay all that stuff off, get all that high interest debt off. That's actual more dollars in your pocket per month. And then you get the new house. And yes, the new house interest rate is a little bit higher. Buy down the rate a little bit, get it back to something normal. And a lot of these people are actually net dollars even. They buy a nicer house, pay off the rest of their debt, and their monthly payment is the same. Total
Well,
debt.
and you have to look at the cost of ownership too, because if you're living in a home that's 30 years old, you're
Yes.
also living in a home with way lower, about 50% or more, sometimes 75% lower efficiencies for your utility bills. Your
Yes.
insurance is about 50 to 75. And in Florida, that's a real thing. Okay. Property
Yes.
tax, like there's so many things that add up. We have to look at that total ownership
Yeah.
cost and what does it cost, and that's
Yes.
where we get so and this is what my training we go all about. It's not about
House
price.
people. Let's just talk
Yeah,
about houses though. It's not just the house, Kimberly. You know that. Like it's all of it. It's like what does the
it's
total
all of
cost
it.
to live? And if we can have that similar and you could be in a new house, would you do that? If we could, would you? If you could, would you? And then they go, well, yeah, I'd do that. If that made sense, great. Well, let's sit down and see what that looks like. And sometimes the answer is no.
I want to oh, you said something really important. This is so good. I hope you guys heard. Did you, if I could show you how to be in a new home, he didn't say a new construction, a new build, a new, he's, if I could show you how to be in a new home for about the same monthly outlay, would you?
Would you
Like,
want to
so,
run the
because
math?
we
Would you
say the
want to take
word
a look?
construction, we say the word build, and we scare everybody. All the realtors always ask me, where do I find new home buyers? Where do you find buyers? It's all the same.
Every buyer's a potential new home buyer if you taught them
Yes, but some of
conversation.
them may be afraid of building of construction and going through the construction process. Guess what? Lots of our builders have inventory homes, brand new. Nobody has toenails in the carpet. Brand new. They have a warranty, they have floors in them, they have light fixtures in them. The toilets work, like it's
Yeah.
incredible. And there's a warranty in case something does go wrong. So, who wouldn't want that, all things being equal?
Yeah, well, I mean, and really, when push comes to shove right now, it's total what does it cost you to live? And when we don't talk about that in the house business, real estate agents in general and even new home construction people, I very seldom have them. They talk about the house because we're house sale people. But you like as a consultant, and I always love that you had consultant in your title of your company. It's a matter of like, what are you trying to do ultimately? Where are we trying to go? And if the total monthly outlay is important, then let's talk about what that looks like holistically. What other debts do you have? What other costs do you have? What other expenses do you have? If we can reduce the expense of owning the house, we can reduce the utilities, we can get rid of your other debt and consolidate some of that stuff and get you to one payment and have that number similar, and you're in a new house, that's a win. Would you do that? Let's look and let's just take a look at it and see what happens. Hey, worst case, the answer is no. And then great. Well, at least we know that. Now we have other options and potentials that we can work through it. People are so stuck on, well, Russ, they're never going to move because they have a 2 3/8 interest rate. And I'm like,
They
yeah,
need to
but
be educated. They
it's
have to be
$3,600,
educated because
$3,700 a month to live. If you can stay at 37 and you're in a new house, would you take that? Yeah. How do you do that, Russ? Now you're starting to become somebody that's doing unusual things. Now you're starting to stand out. Your average person isn't talking like that.
no, and your average realtor isn't, and or nor on site is talking like that. And we need to, because it is our job to consult with people. I love that you said that. It's absolutely, we've got to help people. Selling is not something you do to people, it's something you do with them. And part of
Yeah.
that is they come to you and they want to move.
Yeah.
It's our job to truly show them how.
Yeah.
And if you just focus on price or you just focus on interest rates, like it does not matter at the end of the day what the interest rates are. They could be 18%. What matters is their monthly budget and what this move is going to do for them. So
Yeah. It's
yeah, we've definitely got to focus there. So, but our title of our program, somebody's at, yes, there will be a recording. So somebody's asking, yeah, I know we're going fast. We're going at lightning speed here. We talked about creating a VIP program with realtors.
yeah.
So I do want to give some pitfalls before we get there because I'm just going to mention this as a blurb. We're not going to go into in depth on this because somebody's going to send me hate mail for saying this. Developer community sales programs. And developers are, by the way, those are the dirt people. They're the horizontal development, the stuff that goes in the ground. Builders build up, developers build underground. So I always think of it as vertical and horizontal. But developers have gone in now in many parts of our country and created the anti-sales program
Yes.
because they have decided that they're going to put gatekeepers and put a general real estate firm
Yeah.
to handle the dirt sales, and they don't want the builders to sell the homes. And I got to tell you, when you don't have the builders involved, it's fine if you want them to help you with the land sales and you want to do a pool of builders that can build
Yeah.
anywhere instead of going in and having builders do a takedown and any of those. Fine.
Yeah.
That's certainly your right. But when you start dictating about a builder not having their on-site people who are experts in their product to sell, this is the anti-sales program because general realtors and builder agents should
Oh,
partner together.
yes.
So developers, if you're listening to me, and you probably aren't, but if you are, it's truly like that is it creates such a nightmare. And then outside agents feel like they can't come in, and they've got buyers who would love to live in your community and are willing
Yes.
to pay a premium to do so. But because we make it so hard for them to get in front of somebody who can really help them,
Yeah.
so I had to throw that in there because that's one of those things, and I'm seeing it all over the country. Some places are just out of control with this anti-sales program that they have going on. And you need a dedicated sales staff. If you are a builder, you need dedicated people who know your product and
Yes.
can help your buyers. And those on-site agents can work with general real estate agents to provide them that traffic. Like Russ said, they bring you the buyer and then they do a handoff.
So Kimberly, hearing this non-sales setup is like, so like if you said to me, okay, Russ, I want you to have a conversation with some of these developers. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Developer, is the ultimate goal to make sure you get the right customer in the right place, in the right building with the right expectations and provides fantastic and stellar customer service and have a bunch of people that love you? If that's the case, you need to have a freaking expert that understands a freaking house that you're selling, because you can't have a neutral part like, well, we just kind of connect. It's like adding one more person in the line of telephone when in fact you just need to pick up the phone and talk to the direct person. It's like, all right, what did you say? Versus what did you say? And then they said, and they said, and they said. And what happens is I've never seen people representing a product they don't know intimately at a high level, acting like a professional, do a great job of representing other people's stuff. When
Yep.
I ask somebody to tell people what you do as a consultant, they are not going to get it right most of the time. I know,
Nope.
just like my wife, I'm telling my wife to tell the contractor at my house, my water heater blew up Monday night. Of course, when I'm not home,
Of
Sunday night,
course.
I'm not home. Of course, it blows up when I'm not there. And I'm telling her what to tell the contractor guy. And she's just boogering the whole thing up because she doesn't have the understanding of exactly what's down there. I can tell you and describe it and draw a picture of it. I can't do that while I'm at dinner, but I could draw a picture of it. And the miscommunication happening, we're in the same house. She's looking at the water heater. I'm talking about the water heater, and we're still not communicating exactly what needs to
Yep.
be
You
done.
put that other
Standing there,
person in the middle. Yeah.
as soon as you add that person in the middle, she's got me on one side and the contractor on the other side, and he's asking questions. She's running back and forth. And I'm like, let me talk to the contractor. It takes her out of the middle of it, right? And all of a sudden, communication clarifies. No, this isn't a slight on my wife, but she doesn't have the background and experience and the knowledge base. I know exactly where the cutoff is. My father-in-law's like, we shut the water off. I'm like, no, you didn't. That goes to the bathroom. That doesn't go to the water heater. He's like, it's off though. I'm like, you got the wrong one up. These simple communication lines get lost, and it's almost impossible to represent something that you don't have a vested interest in and a high level of knowledge. The amount of experience and knowledge the new home salespeople have on their specific product is priceless. And we as real estate agents need to let them talk about their product with their expertise on what they know is their unique selling propositions and unique perspectives and unique things that home has. Like, show me something in this home that I wouldn't notice or I wouldn't possibly have noticed. Like, new home salesperson. Nobody wants to talk to a new home salesperson when you come in the door. Nobody wants to talk to me as a realtor when they do an open house either. So what I started to do with them, Kimberly, is I said, hey, I know you don't want to talk to me when you come in the door. I totally get it, right? There's 3 things in this house I want to make sure you see because I don't want you to miss them. So if I could just show you those 3 things and then you guys can do your own thing, would that be fair? I want to make sure you don't miss them. And they all go, yes, I would. Well, now I've got buy-in, and now I'm giving them a tour of the house, and I just happen to have three things in three different places, but I want to make sure they see them. And now I'm building rapport, and we're in a relationship where
You got to build rapport first. Yep, absolutely.
yes, they don't want to talk to me.
Yes.
Fine, got it. I know you don't want to talk to me. So just getting out in front of that stuff, when you have a third party representing what you're doing, there's going to be misrepresentations. And now the builder's having to make good on things that were promised that they didn't promise. Should have never promised them that. And you get people that are upset.
So your job as a realtor is, and I think you were in one of the classes when somebody actually argued with me. They said my job is to show everything that's out there. Okay, that's impossible, number one, and it is not your job. Your job is to help them to find their new home.
Yes.
That is your job. When you
Yeah.
found the new home, now your job changes from that to helping
Yeah.
them to own it.
Yes. Well,
And
the
helping them to own it means doing a handoff when it's new construction to the expert for that builder and being familiar with it. You get nervous and start taking over when you don't understand it. So farm your area. If you're a general realtor on this call, farm your new home area. Know it. Have an on-site salesperson that you have a great rapport with, that you guys have partnered together or you're trying to partner together. Understand their purchase agreement. So because builders' purchase agreements are different, and most builders are writing their own purchase agreements and not using whatever realtor contract that you're using in your state. So, make sure that you're doing that. Sue, I see your question. I'm going to put a pin in that one and come back to it. So thank you for asking it. That I agree with you. And I want to come back to that because I want to make sure that we get through best practices for creating a VIP program. So some best practices. Do you agree with the farming, the area?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, knowledge is power, right? You need to know everything in your market and all the competition, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of collaborations that we can have between new home people and local residential agents. I mean, part of creating a VIP program is learning to ask better questions. Because,
Yep.
like, I can tell you, like,
And knowing when to zip.
yeah, let me tell you all about this. And they're like, I don't care, right? So I start every conversation. I started one just before this one. And I was like, what do you need to know to make the best decision for you? Right. And so you ask the question, like, what's working for you? What's not working for you? What are you seeing? What do you want this to look like in 10 years? You got to get them thinking about where they are now and then where they want to be. And if you can exfoliate that gap, that's where the sales come in, right?
Yep.
It's like, where are you now? Where do you want to be? So what's working at your current home? What's not working? What do you want?
Yep.
What do you want? What are you looking for? How you move forward? So that VIP service is more about making sure that it's about them, making it about them. Because I'll tell you, like, we have here, dirty little secret. Ready? I hope this doesn't go everywhere. EXP is a pain in the ass in almost every market because you've got agents out there be like, well, let me tell you how great EXP, our Lord and Savior, is. And listen, it's a pretty damn great company. But if you lead with, let me tell you how great it is, you get people just putting up walls all over the place. But if I start,
no, thank you.
I start
Yeah.
the conversations like, where are you at now? Where you want to be? How are you going to get there? If I could show you 2 or 3 ways to get there, would you want to do that? Would you be willing to partner with me doing that? I never said EXP once, right? Because I don't have to, because it's about getting them what they want. You understand where they are, what do they want? And then if I can show them a way to get that, then they're like, yeah, I want to do that. Great. Would you be better off doing it with me helping you out doing that or not? You want to do it yourself? You're like, no, I'd be better with you. You see
So
how
what you're saying is just filling out the MLS intake form is not the way to get sales?
No,
It's
no.
not.
So the VIP thing is finding out what's important to your customers, right? So the ultimate thing on VIP, let's talk about car sales. I remember this guy. You remember Glenn Miller back in the day, consultant to Prudential, and he's like, I go into the parking lot, and the guy's like, let me show you the engine, and let me show you this, and let me show you that. And this car is fast, and it's got this suspension. And Glenn's like, I just need to get from point A to point B and be able to haul groceries. I don't care about the rest of that stuff. It does. If it didn't have an engine, I don't care as long as it goes from point A to point B.
Yep.
And the salesperson sold him all the things that the salesperson thought was important. So, like, VIP step number 1 is find out what's important to them. That's why you go into some of these amazing hotels, and I'm in an amazing hotel today. And I come into this hotel, it's like they actually get what their customers are looking for. Right? They actually get what their customers are looking for because they ask their customers what's important to them, and they make sure they stay focused on that. VIP is about making sure you know what is important to your customers. And many times it's simply a matter of just asking. Build the right questions so you get the answers. And once you ask and then something's important to them, then you only talk about that. You don't need to talk about every bell and whistle and feature. They're like, I just want my family to feel safe and secure. Good. That's all I'm selling. Good. We got safe and secure. You good? Ready to go? Oh, but before we do that, let me tell you about no. Stop selling. VIP
Stop the
is about
madness. And
sell
that's
them what
true
they're
for
willing to buy.
That's true for on-sites and realtors. In realtors and builders working together, I think that the key here is just some very simple points. Number one, be consistent. Be very
Yes.
clear in what your policies are if you're the builder. Highly recommend that you have a separate broker registration form and a broker registration policy on your website that both buyers and brokers can see, so that buyers and brokers both know when you get paid, how you get paid, and why you get paid, and what needs to happen with
Yep.
that. So those very clearly defined policies just set great expectations. If anyone wants a sample form like that, happy to send it to you. Reach out to me after the show, and I will be happy to send you a form that you can then personalize and put your company information on.
So Kimberly,
Um,
I would say a big part of reasons why a lot of real estate agents are reluctant to go to new home sales is they don't know how they're going to get paid. They don't know what they're going to get. And really, when
yeah,
push comes to shove, and you look at the average real estate agent doing 3 and 4 sales a year, you're messing with a quarter or a fifth of their potential income for the whole year. That's
yeah,
a big deal, right? So the more clear you are that they're going to be taken care of and they're going to get paid, the less reluctant they are going to be putting people in front of you. If you can actually start a VIP concierge line of talk, which says, guys, our job is to help make sure we get the deal done and make sure you get paid too. That's if people go, oh yeah, those are the people I will bring my people to them, right?
yeah.
It's a matter of eliminating the doubt and eliminating the wonder, right? The other
And
thing
that
is
fear.
VIP communication, right? So one of the things that I see in the difference between a good hotel and a great hotel is the way people communicate and what they communicate about.
100%.
Okay, so here's the thing: as my standard as a real estate agent when I was selling homes, and just for the record, just because I want you guys to know I wasn't a complete dipstick. My best year selling 143 closings with one full-time, one part-time person. Okay, 143 closings 1 year, just me and Sean Bates and Holly Ruling. Okay, so with that said, the thing that I always drove into their head and every one of our customers and clients is if you ever go to sleep and don't know exactly where you stand with us and what the next step is and when you're expecting to hear from us, I consider that a failure on my part. If you have people wondering, they are not going to be the easiest people to deal with. If they know exactly where they're at, exactly where they stand, exactly what's up next, and you stay in the loop with communication on them, that is absolutely priceless. Because if people sleep good, they're not all cranky as hell, driving you crazy and coming up with that's not crazy things every morning. And by the way,
That is so true.
new home salespeople include the agent. Make sure the agent doesn't wonder either.
Yes.
Because the real estate
Yes.
agent, like they get divorced from the situation, you take over my customer, you take them over, turn them into your client, and then I'm on the outside, and the customer client is still calling me, asking me questions. And if I don't know, then I feel stupid. And if I feel stupid, I don't want to do business with you, or I'm having to call you and kick your ass because like you didn't tell me this was Why didn't you tell me this was going on? Because they called me and asked me questions. So again, it comes down to collaboration on both sides, and it takes two, right? And trust me, I know agents are challenging. Trust me.
But they're not if you educate them and you include them. And honestly, when things go wrong in
Yes.
new construction, it has very little to do with the fact that a window got broken or the buyer has a question about the home or the home's not moving. It's mostly the communication.
Patience is part of it.
99.9% of the time, our problems can be solved by
Yep.
better communication. And that includes builder to realtor and vice versa.
Both sides. Yes.
Yes, and
And
be
just
very
understand.
consistent. Set up a system for that. Every Friday when you do what I call your super sales meeting, your superintendent and sales, and they call all of your buyers, include the realtor.
Yep.
Like make
Here's what
sure
we
that
can
it
do.
and that we're recording it in our CRM or whatever system we're using.
Yeah. And like we don't document nearly as well as we should in all industries. We don't
Yeah.
document. I had to
No,
learn
and
how to
we need to.
document. Being a broker and where I'm at now is like almost everything that's important you got to document, because then we can go back and say, hey, on this day we talked about this, and this, and we're clear, right? Clarity, you rarely get sued over high levels of clarity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And remember not to get too far ahead of yourself. So tomorrow this is going to happen. Next week this is going to happen.
Yes.
Not next month, not next year. This is what's going to happen next, and set those expectations as you go right along. I
Yeah.
also want to bring up another point before we run out of time here, but reward right behavior. If
Yes.
you want
Yes.
agents to show your homes, thank
Yes.
them for showing your homes.
Yes.
Send them, now here's a radical idea, Russ.
Don't you
Send
even
them
say
a
handwritten
snail
personal note?
mail, handwritten thank you note. What? Like very expensive, right? The cost of a stamp. Snail mail. Send this through them, not an email, not a text message. Yes, millennials and Gen Zs, I am talking to you.
Yes.
So, yes, because people don't get handwritten thank you notes in the mail anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or you could take it a step further and maybe stop by your local grocery store and you know those $10 bouquets of flowers. Maybe they're
Yes.
15 because of inflation now, right? All right. So they're 15 little tiny bouquets of flowers. Take that and drop by their office and go, you know, it was so great seeing you the other day. I just wanted to drop by and give you some flowers. People love, and everybody who walks by their desk is going to go, oh, who sent you flowers? At which point they get the opportunity to say, well, this came from Bodacious Builders because I was over there the other day. Now you've got an ambassador talking about how great you are and what lovely people you are and how thankful that you sent them flowers. But let's circle back to that consistency. If you send one person flowers, you got to send them all flowers. So have a program. I have a little template. Again, I'm happy to share it with everybody because I just think it's best practice of what you can do to create a VIP program. You can pick sections of it, be consistent, reward right behavior.
So two things with that. Number one, by the way, even boys like getting handwritten personal note. I got one in the mail the other day and I showed somebody like, dude, that's cool. Just a little thank you note. It's funny. And by the way, you want to really cause a stir in an actual real estate office? Send the boys flowers too.
Yes. Or
Send
at least
like
like a
what
candy
the heck?
bouquet or a
Yes.
balloon bouquet. I mean,
Send them
you can
freaking
change it
flowers.
up.
Yeah, send them flowers. And everybody in the building's gonna be talking. It's like, did you see Russ got a bouquet of flowers for the building? People talk about that way more than the ladies getting flowers, although they will talk a lot about the ladies getting flowers. But do it with the boys also. It's about getting personal. Think about, how do I build relationships? This VIP thing is, how do I build relationships, make connections that last, and people think of you. When they think homes, new homes, they think about you. How are you doing that? You've got to stand out somehow, and consistency, of course. Consistency is the key. Absolutely. Then you do the follow-up call. Hey, just want to touch base. Kimberly, I just want to touch base and see if you got the flowers I said yes. Trust me, most of them are going to call you way before you need to call them, but it's a great reason to follow up. I just want to make sure I follow up. By the way, did people give you a hard time about that? And just giggle with them. It's not
And
about,
relationships are not about a one time, they're not transactional, number one, and they're not about a one time interaction. They're about those touch points over time as we get to know each other, as we develop a common ground. I mean, Russ met me one time. We had to meet multiple times to then develop a rapport and be able to pick up right where we left off, however many years later.
yeah,
The last one I want to leave you with is educate and partner. So I
yes.
guess that's two things. So
Yeah.
educate and partner. Educate your realtors. If you want more realtors selling your homes and understanding your unique selling proposition, do those muddy boots tours, bring them out, teach them about construction, put a hard hat, a logoed hard hat on. Man, realtors love to wear your hard hat, take pictures, put it all over their social, talk about free advertising.
Yeah.
Like hard hats. First of all, we need to teach safety and we need to teach, not to be wandering around on construction sites. But that's priceless when they're out there in your homes taking pictures of themselves, going, "Look at me! I'm out here learning about new construction." And
Yes.
partner, don't dominate. So it's about a partnership both ways. So please don't say things like, if you just bring your buyers to us, we're going to take over and do everything. That is going to terrify them. Talk about how we're going to partner, how we're going to work together, and how we're going to communicate together.
Yes. And then do it, right? So
And then
we've
do
had
it.
plenty of lip service. Well, here's what we do. Here's what we do. And with the real estate agents too, this is like, go back to one of your sales tips earlier. It's like, here's where we are now, and here's what's next. Don't show them the 80 other things. They get overwhelmed. Here's where we are now. Here's what we got next. And I'll let you know, boom, boom, and here's where we're going to communicate, right? That is part of that partnering and building that relationship and building that communication and building that trust. Because then when you call them, say, hey, I'm calling you like I said I would, now you've got credibility coming out of your wazoo because you did what you said you were going to do. And you make them feel comfortable. They know where they're at. They know what the next step is. Everybody's on the same page. They sleep better at night. If they sleep better at night, they're way easier to deal with in the morning.
And 25 realtors is all you need if you want 50 sales a year. 25 realtors who are going to bring you 2 sales a year. That's 50. Last time I checked, 25 times 2 is 50. Realtors, you need 25 on-site agents in your farm area that you're going to do 2 deals a year with, and you've got 50 sales. How
Yes.
many realtors are getting 50 sales a year? Not many.
So Kimberly, one of the things that like, here's a free one for you guys, right? You want to build a sphere of influence with a bunch of real estate agents, become a resource for them, because by the way, crap breaks on a house. How often are you going to bump into a real estate agent that needs to do a deal with new construction? Once every couple of years, probably, unless they're really stellar real estate agents, maybe once a year. But they have 6 things break on their house, and they have 60 things a year that break on their customers' houses. So if you have a preferred contractor list you can manage, utilizing some of your preferred contractors, and you become a resource for them, they know they can call you when something breaks on their house or their customers' houses. If you can manage a list like that, you can become a connector. And I just go out to my local real estate stuff. I'm like, hey, by the way, we have a managed contractor list. If you ever anything break on a house or any customers' houses, let us know. We've got contacts all over the place in the construction business. And now you become a resource for real estate agents on a daily basis. You can just build that and cultivate that to grow your sphere. And if you can do that,
Yes.
now you've got real estate agents that see you as a resource, not just a new home construction person, but a house person, all things house. Now you're an expert in everything for them. You become a resource for that. They're going to think about you every time they get a new buyer.
Yes. Which gets back to Sue's question that I don't want to admit, even though we were a little bit over here, I do want to address her question here. If you're looking for go look for buyers. Buyers are not necessarily coming to you today. You are
Yes.
going to have to go out. You're going to have to farm them. You're going to have to get out into the community. And yes, on-site agents, you too.
Yes.
Get out there and let's talk about why it's a great time to buy a home right now, because nobody wants to relive 2020 and 2021 when you couldn't buy a home, or you were waiting on a VIP list, or you were missing out, or you were overbidding and overpaying for nobody wants to relive that. And with the limited supply we have out there right now, once interest rates stabilize, look out. So now is a great time. And even though we're going into the holidays, it's less competition. It's a great time to go ahead and start owning a home and enjoy it for the holidays. So,
So
and many of our
Kimberly,
builders have standing homes right now that your buyers can get in. They don't have to wait for them to build it.
yeah. So Kimberly, I think the essence right now of the business when things are a little bit slower is being able to build a referral business and build a sphere of influence business. Every one of you needs to be thinking sphere of influence, and you have a ton of people in your sphere, but the key is you got to add value to them. So actually, Kimberly, I'll throw this out there. There's no cost to this. There is not an expense for it. It is just free register. My buddy Adrian uses a training program that I built, how to work your sphere of influence, doing a good market update, building a contractor list like we talked about, and then doing social media, right? Not look at me, here's something for you, social media. This is how you build connections and build relationships and get way more connection and contact. That's under unlimitedclosings.com. So if you're not an EXP agent, unlimitedclosings.com is a resource for you guys. And I literally just put it live last week before last, because I'm doing these rallies and people are wanting these recipes over and over and over on how to build relationships. And by the way,
Yeah,
guys, use exactly that to build your relationships with your real estate agents, and you will build relationships that'll last you a lifetime. It's the same stuff Kimberly and I did building a relationship with you and me. What,
exactly.
17,
Yeah, we've
17
been
years
doing this stuff.
later?
We do practice what we preach for sure, for
Yes.
sure. Well, we are over today, and I know you are slammed and have to get to the airport. So, fly safe, my friend. Thank you for your brilliant advice, and it's so good to catch up with you. Thank you to everybody who took a few minutes out of your day today, and I hope you will apply this stuff. And you're gonna see how easy this really is when you focus on it. You're really gonna get lots of rewards out of it. So
One
have a great day, everybody.